Hello, everyone. Welcome to Old Testament theology and history. And these are our streamcasts. And I'm calling them streamcasts because, as you know, the core elements in this course are theological streams, and we're doing 6 of them. And I've asked former students to come and give you an overview of the various theological streams, hence the name Streamcast. Each video will give you a bit of an overview of the stream, a bit of an idea of what it's about, and most importantly, the impressions of someone who has worked their way through and looked at the stream. Today, we're very fortunate to have Leah Vetro with us. Leah, when did you graduate?
I graduated in 2017.
Excellent. Wow, that's already a while ago. It seems
I know.
like yesterday
Mm-hmm.
you were in class.
Yes.
And what are you doing now?
I am finishing up my degree in library science at University of Toronto and am currently employed in our library at Tyndale. It is an amazing place to work, and I'm very, very grateful to be here.
Well, that's wonderful. So you might be one of those people that would be on the other end if we go to the library homepage and look for library help.
Mm-hmm. Yes. If you submit a request through LibAnswers, there's a very good chance that I will be talking to you. So. Mm-hmm.
So if students were writing papers and they needed really to see an article or a dictionary entry or something, someone there would scan it.
Yes, we would, and we're committed to a 24-hour turnaround. So hopefully you would see it very quickly.
Wow. That is wonderful, and that is really, really a great help. Okay, Leah, we're going to do creation theology today. Would you give us a brief summary of the big picture or key idea or leading theme of the stream we call creation theology?
Sure. So creation theology is a theme that shows up in many passages in the Old Testament. But in a broader way than you would likely expect, and broader than I did when I started the class. When I started the class, my conception of God as creator was confined to God's activity in Genesis 1 and 2. But the big idea of the stream is that beyond those passages, and the God, the creator God that Israel understood, is manifested in so many other ways through different metaphors, and that God as creator is active in so many ways beyond what we see in Genesis 1 and 2. Yes.
Good. Thank you. That's helpful. The idea that there are many metaphors that are used about God's activity as creator, and that there are many different passages where those metaphors appear. What was most new or surprising to you as you delved into this stream?
Yeah, I guess what was new and what I really appreciated learning is that kind of prior to the class, my appreciation of God as creator, in a sense, was confined to the power of God, and that is very important. But what was new to me was to gain a deeper understanding of what we learned about God in Genesis 1 and 2 in terms of God as the artist. I think how we see the uniqueness of what God did and how he did it, the wisdom, the order, and just the ways that that we see that come across in God as creator, and then how that carries on throughout the Old Testament. So that was new to me, and so it was just gaining that deeper understanding of how God's wisdom is seen in his acts of creation.
kind of like the idea of the aesthetics of
Mm,
creation. It wasn't just the act of creation, but the idea that, go back to this idea that not only is it functional, but it's also aesthetically beautiful.
mm,
That kind of thing. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, if you were going to talk about the contemporary significance
Mm,
of creation theology for the community of faith, for us as the people of God in the world, what lessons are there that we can take
mm,
from creation theology?
sure. I guess when I think about it in my own life right now, there's so much significance in terms of understanding God as creator, in terms of how we approach God and how we respond to Him in worship. Um, what we see, or yeah, what we see in creation theology is God's love and God's care, and we see God's goodness, and that has so much significance for how we respond to Him as His creation, how we come to Him. And I guess one other thing that I've been thinking about, especially lately, in light of the pandemic and the chaos around the world, is I remember loving how God's creative activity is also seen in His plan of redemption, how redemption is a key theme in creation theology. And that kind of combined with God's power over divisive forces and chaos provides so much hope in this day when we don't know when some of the chaos will end, and some of it just seems to be getting worse. To read passages that talk about the renewal of God's covenant and His desire to redeem creation, um, I think just impacts how I face the news every day, how I face prayer every day. And so, reviewing what I learned in this class, has renewed my hope at these times. So, yeah.
That's a really good way, I think, to conclude it, because creation and redemption do run parallel. We have the pattern of creation in Genesis 1, where it's kind of effortless and
Mm,
it just comes. Whereas you have in Isaiah and some of the Psalms, creation portrayed as the victory, God's victory over the forces of chaos, Rahab,
mm,
Leviathan, the sea monsters, and all that stuff. And the idea, it's good to know that creation theology includes God's sort of beautiful architectural creation, Genesis 1, God's battle with the forces of disorder in these various other passages, and then ultimately God's recovery and redemption of His creation
mm,
when it is marred or goes off track. I think we've really covered some of the most important points.
mm.
So, Leah, thank you so much for your time. I guess we better let you get back to helping people there and
Mm.
doing your library stuff. But thank you very much for being with us on the Streamcast.
My pleasure. Yeah.
Okay, have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.
All right.
You too.